Could, as you start, why don't you talk about how the work so far this year has gone and what you're looking forward to specifically yourself this year?
I'm just looking forward to going out there and playing. We've done all this weightlifting and running in the sun and all that good stuff. So I'm just looking forward to get back to playing football, man. That's it.
About 40 days away. Do you think it'll come here in the blink of an eye?
What was that?
It's like 40 days away before the first game. Will it get here before you know it?
Oh yeah, man. I'm just ready, excited for it to get here. That's all.
Okay. We have some questions. Sure. Up on the camera bank. Wait, here we go.
Here you go. Sorry.
Joe Cook, WLTX. Bryan, Jake was in here earlier. He feels you're the most underrated quarterback in the nation. Do you feel the same way? And maybe in your last year, you ought to prove that you should be regarded as one of the best.
I don't pay attention to too much stuff like that. If I go out there, I do my job and play like I know how I can play. All the fame and the notoriety and things like that, it'll come.
To your right, up
John
front.
Del Bianco with the Big Spur. Brian, Will had told us that, obviously he took the seniors out to his house the other day, and obviously it was a laid-back atmosphere and stuff, but he did talk to you guys about just being the leaders of this team, and how important are you going to be to leading this team this year, you feel?
Being a leader, it's very important, with me being a senior and all the experience I have, and, I know I just have to control my room and the guys I'm leading and make sure they know their role is important on the team and make sure that we're ready to play every week.
Right up here in the front row.
Josh Hyber, Spurs and Feathers. Will always tells the story about the day he got hired and he went to recruit you, hopped on a plane to Conway, and seeing your grandfather, I guess a Clemson alum. What do you remember that day? What's your perspective from just that day as a whole?
I just remember meeting T-Rob and Coach Muschamp, and they coming into my house, and my granddad, he was decked out in his Clemson stuff. He wanted them to know that he played at Clemson, and who he was what team he wanted me to go to. But it was a great experience. They had a great message for me, and they had a great plan for me, and they kind of turned the tide, and I actually started looking at South Carolina, as the place I wanted to go.
What did that mean to you that the first day you were one of the two guys that he came to see?
It meant a lot to me. It showed me that I was high for them, and I was important to them. And it, like I said, it kind of turned the tide, and it made me want to come to South Carolina.
Back on the camera bank here.
Bryan, I'm curious, what have your conversations been like with Deebo during this offseason? I know he's been working since he got drafted, and the fact that you're going to assume that number one role now. What has he kind of told you about what you need to do as far as preparation?
He really hasn't told me anything as far as preparation. I kind of know what I need to do. I've been watching him for 3 years, playing that kind of 1A, 1B role, and it's time for me to step up. But all that stuff I feel like it's going to be easy for me, natural for me, because it's what I do every day. But as far as my conversation with Deebo, we kind of just talk, as brothers. He's a brother for me, and, I just somebody I talk to about personal stuff and personal life, and we just enjoy each other's company.
Straight ahead in the back.
Watch Fox, Columbia, South Carolina. Bryan, last season, I know a lot of people brought up the drop passes. How does that motivate you guys just as a unit this year?
It just motivates us to make sure that we're doing what we need to do, to be the best we can be come that first game. Those drop passes always, they make you work harder, and they make you, reevaluate what you're doing and, just go out there and focus. That's it.
Okay, right up front here.
You mentioned being a leader in your room. What kind of room do you feel like that wide receiver group can be this year?
We can be whatever we want to be this year, I feel like. We have the talent to do whatever we want to do. We have bigger guys like Ortre Smith. We have smaller slot guys like Shy Smith. Josh Vann is a guy that's coming along very well. So, we have all the tools to be whatever we want to be this year.
Okay, right back up front here.
Bryan, obviously you never want someone to go out with injury, but what did you learn from the time that Deebo was out and getting that attention from defenses?
I just learned that you got to come to work every day with your lunch pail, and you got to just do what the coaches ask of you, and not try to do too much, play in the system, and just take it one game at a time, one play at a time.
Did you do anything differently over the summer as far as different workouts, more strenuous workouts?
Our team as a whole kind of upped it up a little bit. I feel like just our strength training program, it's kind of upped it up, and we've been doing a lot more, putting a lot more strain on our bodies just so we can be prepared for that first game.
Right here in the front.
Yeah, Andrew Ranspata State Newspaper in Columbia. Brian, you talked about motivation by drops. How much are you guys motivated offensively from these last 6 quarters of last year? Obviously, you had a good year offensively in those last 6 to come up without a point. Does that carry with you into next season?
I kind of leave last year in the past. You know, the drops, the inconsistencies we had. You know, all that stuff is the past. You know, it's time for us to put all that stuff in the past and just control what we can control and take it one game at a time. You know, all that stuff in the past, we really can't worry about it. You know, because when you start worrying about stuff like that, it kind of rolls over.
In the back again on the.
Brian, same with that in the back right here about motivation. You have a little son coming on the way. You're finishing up your senior year. I know you have dreams and aspirations of playing in the NFL. What is your mindset going into this season compared to years past, knowing that there's a lot in the future for you?
I'm motivated as I ever been. I'm confident in what I can do and my abilities, and I'm excited more than anything. Just to see where I land and see what the future holds. I'm just so excited and ready to get this season rolling.
Okay, back here again. 1 second, we get the mic.
Brian, I know you're going to be key in the offense and, the talk for Jake, senior year, and it seems like this is the year where everything comes together. What have you seen? Is anything changed from him that you've seen as far as preparation, how he's approaching things, knowing that, this is last year and he's expecting a big year? I know you guys are out of him as well.
Well, Jake's always been super competitive. He's always been that guy, that just comes to work every day. But as far as this year, just specifically, I see him stepping up more as a leader and, just being more vocal and commanding more respect from the guys in the locker room. And you can see everybody responding from that. And, he's kind of putting his foot down. And if he sees something, that's not right, he's going to call you out on it. And he's going to make sure that we're doing the things we need to do to be a great team this year.
Go ahead. Sure.
You spoke about that off-season strength and conditioning program. Is there a favorite day, a favorite event that Dillman put on for you guys that you really enjoyed?
Definitely running the hills. They kind of surprised us, and they took us on. They loaded us up on the bus, and we kind of ran hills as a team and did a little competition. It was super fun. Just competing with your teammates and getting better.
Year 2 under Coach McClendon, what did you like about the system last year, the tempo, the pace, things of that nature, and what can be better in year 2? Getting a glimpse of that in year 1, how can you guys use that for year 2?
BMAC's system, it has a lot of moving pieces to it. A lot of things you can switch around, so guys just can't play you one way. You can move anybody into any position. Everything's interchangeable. So, besides that, as far as expectations and things like that, we just have to wait and see.
We have time for a few more. Here's another on the front.
You mentioned being a leader in the room and some of the younger guys. We saw Deebo run the perimeter with Shy before games last year. How are you stepping into that leadership role? Are there things you're doing, more film you're watching with the younger guys?
Just making sure everybody's where they need to be, make sure everybody's going hard and doing what they need to do to be successful. But as far as that, everything's natural for me. Like I said, I'm doing the same things I did last year, just being the same guy.
Anything else? Brian, good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.